So first, thank you, Kyle, and everybody for inviting me for this Parcel Fest. It's the first one I'm attending, and I'm so, I love all the talks that I saw up to now, and it's amazing. I've been doing workflows for about 10 years now, so it's nice to see where people are going. And I want to talk about this new young project. It started 7 days ago, so it's very, very fresh. Officially started, actually. It's funded by NSF. And it's part of the CCRI program that the idea is to create research infrastructures. So the workflows, the RI part that you hear, you see here, it's the research infrastructure part for workflows. So we put together a collaboration of USC, from where I come from, University of Hawaii and University of Chicago, represented by Kyle. And we are trying to boost, to develop in the future scientific workflow research infrastructure that would enable people to conduct better systematic development research of workflow systems. So the goal here, I'm not talking about how we use Parcel, but how we can continue to improve Parcel and all the other numbers of workflow systems that there are today. So as you can see, there are a lot of challenges, and it brings back to what Doug was saying yesterday about there are too many things that workflow systems needs to manage, how many workflow systems we need to have. So as I saw, we all saw yesterday and today, there are a lot of workflows that are becoming more complex, require more sophisticated workflow management capabilities. And just a few descriptions here, like today you can expect a workflow to manage terabyte scale data sets, have millions of jobs or tasks, require coordination between heterogeneous tasks like CPU, GPUs, or if they're doing in situ processing or using bus buffers. Tasks that runs really fast, takes only a few seconds or milliseconds, and others that take hours and days. And the processing of data streams, files, and object stores. So everything is so diverse. And if you try to create one single system that is going to do all of these, it becomes almost impossible. And you can build it, but it's going to be very hard to use, not user-friendly at all. So that's why it comes to our next step here that says, we have a lot of workflow systems. And here are only two different links that has a list. For example, the first one is was created by the Common Workflow Language people. And they listed over 280 workflow systems. Most of them are not alive anymore, but during the history of workflow systems, how many have been developed during this time. There is another one by Paolo Di Tommaso that he did a different list. There is a more curated list that has 140 plus workflow systems, but actually combining them, I saw there are some workflows that are not in both lists. And you can easily tell that people develop more than 300 different workflow systems. So there is this profusion of different workflow systems, yet similar in functionality. And the main issue that we see here is WMS development is still ad hoc. Everyone is doing your own thing, and there is always new people coming and say, yeah, I need a new one, and I'm going to develop a new one. So where we are trying to go here, this is where comes the WorkflowsRI project. That is a 1-year planning project funded by NSF. The idea is just to create, really bring the community together. We just wanted to do these very, simple things that are highlighted here. That is, we bring the community together, we define a rigorous methodology, and so we can characterize all the current and upcoming workflow systems to support the innovation. We just claim to be able to hope to do that, in 1 year, come up with this plan on how we can do all of that. So if we can achieve that, and we hope we can achieve that, would be amazing. And this is the main goal of this project. So how we are planning to do that? Basically, we are bringing, and I hope you can see my mouse here, we are bringing 3 different communities together. So the workflows community that comes with the researchers and the developers, the science and engineering communities, and I saw a lot of them here today, and you are more than invited to join our project. And the CI, the sub-infrastructure community, that are the ones providing all the computational storage and all the CI systems, the resources that we can run our applications using our workflow systems. So basically during the next year, we're gonna be conducting some surveys and workshops, and put all of this together into our infrastructure. And along this side, there are a few products that we are looking for. The first one we wanted to produce, it's a common knowledge taxonomy of different workflow systems and what they are targeting, what are the goals, so we can have a better classification and hopefully try to characterize systems into a common place. Come up with what I mentioned, the experimental methodology. At the same time, have a better curated list of WMS inventory with more details about the different systems that are going to correspond to these taxonomies and experimental methodology, and come up with a blueprint. What are the needs of an R&D infrastructure for workflow systems development and research? So on our roadmap, we are planning, we are just starting here. So we are on this white part. We are still touching, just 7 days. We are touching the surveys part. We are developing new surveys that we wanted to capture the workflow researcher, developers, and the free communities that I mentioned before. Then we're going to conduct a series of 4 different workshops that will be targeted workshops. The first one for the community at all to come up with the goals and defining what we want to achieve. Then we're going to have a more workflows developer-centered workshop, another one for the CI and the science workshop, and the last one that it's basically putting all of this together, defining the blueprint, and that it's going to help us come up with our actual proposal to develop in the research infrastructure in the future. So to do that, of course, only our team is not enough. So we put together a board of experts, a list of experts on workflow systems around the world. And these are the people currently involved in this project that will be providing us, guidance, feedback. So we try to come up with the most still alive workflow systems. And I saw some today and yesterday also. So I would like to, invite all of you to join us on this discussion and try to put the community together. And just to finalize, I'm almost out of time to get my 8 minutes. So there is an email. If you want to get involved, just send an email to us, and we're going to get back to you. We'll put you in our mailing lists and announcements lists, so you get all notifications about the workshops. There is the website that we are currently creating. So we don't have much there yet, but we're going to soon have more content. And we will be sending some surveys around for you as a workflow developer, as a workflow user, or as a CI provider. But just would like to thank you again for this opportunity, and we'd be more than happy to discuss with you after.
Thank you so much, Rafael. This is really exciting. I didn't even know about this. Does anybody have any questions?
Rafael, this is Mike Wild. I'm just sort of wondering where in the plan are you planning to study the various task models and the various workflow execution models that that the many systems can be grouped into?
Yeah, so this is part of what we call the taxonomy part. Okay. This is where we want to go and analyze these different models, and some of our people from our board of experts already expressed interest in collaborating on that. And one thing that I forgot to mention is everything we try to do is going to be open source. Mm-hmm. So for example, we plan to use Git books, so anyone can go there, do their pull requests, contributions to their taxonomies, to their workflows, to their knowledge, and of course everything is going to be curated by our team to be sure that the content is relevant.
That sounds very exciting. Yeah. Kudos to you guys.
I have a question. I'm just curious. Well, I guess you just told the expertise, but I am not familiar with all these people. Do you have anybody on the team that's like a sociology person or like a surveying expert or something? Like, it seems like this is kind of almost a sociological kind of study. So have you thought about kind of branching out to other, like people in other domains that might be able to
not specifically yet, but as I said, it has been just 7 days of work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's still gonna we're still in the process. Like we have a meeting next week, and we have a creating like a long list of things we wanted to discuss and continue preparing these things. But yeah, it's a great idea for the surveys.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
This is Engin. So what is I may have missed that. Sorry for that. So you besides the taxonomy, besides the showing what the workflow, which workflow tool is for what purpose, what is the end goal of this project? So what do you expect to produce at the end? So I assume that it's not going to end up with new workflow system. It is going to be more,
No. So there are two goals. One goal is talking about this planning project for 1 year. We want to have at least at the end a common sense from the workflow community. Say what are the, as Michael just mentioned, like what different kind of tasks you process, different kind of systems or requirements. So having this common knowledge, and also the blueprint explaining what are different things that the community is expecting to have, and what people can provide and what are the gaps. So this will be, everything that is going to be open to everybody. And for us in particular, one of the things that we are looking for is to create, it's an opportunity for us to create a new research infrastructure for the development of workflow systems. And this you can imagine to have a systematic way so you could evaluate new workflow systems or the current ones that we have. For example, what you want to say is, let's take an example of Parcel. Parcel is developing a new functionality. So how Parcel can ensure that this functionality is serving most of the needs of the community. So the idea with this research infrastructure is that we have benchmarks, we have methods to evaluate the systems and so on.
I mean, what you just said, for me, the most important part there is benchmarking. I think in a lot of other subfields in computer science, we've seen that has really, really driven, a lot of fast progress. So if we had good benchmarks, that would be really exciting.
And it's something that we really miss.